film I saw called Silent Night. Not to be confused with about six other films called Silent Night. Because there was one.
Which Silent Night is it?
Yeah, which Silent Night is it? This is the 2021 Silent Night. And it's because I know there was one 2023 last year that was Joel Kinnaman as a man who is getting revenge for the death of his family, but he can't speak. And it was a John Woo action movie, and that was released last Christmas. That was called Silent Night for obvious reasons. Now, this film is starring, the main person in it is Keira Knightley. So you have Keira Knightley in this film. You have Keira Knightley, and she is married to a character. Hey, Kemi, put your headphones back in. Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry. Welcome to parenting. Oh, for goodness sake! Hang on a second. Okay, I'm back. Don't pull that out. All right. Oh, welcome to parenting. Welcome to parenting, the podcast. It's like podcasting while parenting. Where was I? Yes, she is married to a character played by Matthew Good. Married to a character played by Matthew Good. They have three kids. One of them is played by Roman Griffith Davis, who was the kid in Jojo Rabbit, they have him and the younger ones are two twins, who are played by his brothers, played by his twin brothers. And this is a film that basically was 2021. It has a feeling of that sort of COVID thing about it, where they started making films, and then all these films were made in one location. Yeah, start having this glut of films made in one location. So the whole idea is that there's a whole bunch of friends who are descending, and you can see they're old, either school friends or uni friends, all descending on this big country house for Christmas. So it starts with them making Christmas dinner, and it starts off looking like one of these comedies of manners, where you have these people come in, you have the family, you have the kids who show up with a difficult kid. The family show up with a difficult kid. You have the ones who they're married, but you're wondering, is there actually something going on there? Lucy Punch shows up with Kirby Howell Baptiste as a lesbian couple who where she is part of the friend group, and he's part of the friend group, and Kerry Howard Baptiste is like the partner who feels a bit left out of the friend group and all that kind of stuff. So this whole thing is being set up. But then there's all these little hints that are being put into dialogue that show you that not everything might be okay. Like one of them shows up, Shokwe Dirisu shows up, and he says to Keira Knightley, goes, "Oh, look at us. We're all just getting old." And he goes, "Well, we were getting old." And then you're like, "Oh, hang on, what's going on here?" And as it goes on, you realize that what happens is that and there's also a line where somebody says, like, Greta told us, and nobody listened, is like what the kid says. And it turns out that the basic premise of this film is that the Earth has had enough. The Earth has had enough of humans abusing it. And so what's going to happen is that at some point in the next day or so, there's going to be this massive cloud of gas that has been going across the world and is going to wipe out all human life. So there's no escaping it. There's this massive cloud that's going to come. It's going to wipe out all human life. No escaping it. And it's gone across most countries in Africa, and people have just died because of this massive cloud. And what the British government has decided to do is to prevent suffering of its citizens. They've given everybody who they count as worthy. They've given everybody who they count as worthy a tablet, and enough tablets for them and their families. So it's essentially mass assisted suicide. So what is happening in this film is that everybody has come together for one last Christmas where they're all going to get together. They're going to have this lovely thing, and then they and their families are going to take these pills. And means they themselves, their kids, everybody, they're going to take this pill. And that is what the premise of the film is.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And then it goes into this whole thing where it's a real it sets it up. I think it sets it up very, very well into what the dilemma would be and why you would go about this. And then you have the kid he's probably around about 13, 14, and he's kind of like going, hang on a second, but no, what if the government are wrong? How do we know this is true? We don't know anything about this. There's all these questions of, is this actually true? Have we been told the truth? Why should we do this? Should we go about doing this kind of thing? And it becomes, and so you have people who say, I don't want to do it. I want to take my chances. And you have other people who are saying, no, we can't do this because if we leave people behind, they're just going to suffer, and we cannot let our kids suffer. And it becomes, so there's a big part of it that is quite philosophical about what you would do in this situation. And I think it's set up really, really well. And it gets to this point where as you're getting towards the end, you're like, okay, what ending are we going to go for? Are we going for, okay, have you seen The Mist? The Frank Darabont? Yeah, The Mist. Are we going to go for like The Mist ending, or are we going to go for something else? Is there going to be a way out of this? Because they've set up something that sounds pretty definitive. And I think it's quite good. I don't think it pulls its punches. It shows you how horrific some of this stuff would be. There's a scene with a car at the side of the road that is, ugh. And the final shot makes you ask questions. The final shot makes you ask questions. I thought it was quite good. And I would give it a 4 out of 5. I don't think it made much of a splash when it came out, but if you can find it, Silent Night, wherever it is, it will probably have Keira Knightley's face on the thumbnail, on the poster, because you have Keira Knightley in a movie. Why wouldn't you? Yeah, and but I would recommend watching it if you can handle the thought that there's this thing that's going to kill everybody, and so to avoid a horrific death, you are going to have to euthanize yourself and your entire family. So yeah, that's what I would say to that one.